one of them on the northwest side, the neighborhood of Avondale, has recently been named 5th coolest neighborhood, not in the city, in the country.
Whoa,
by TimeOut.
That's awesome.
So it's a really cool honor. And think about all the cool neighborhoods throughout the country.
Right.
Avondale comes in at number 5. And so to kick off the show today, we have the alderman of that ward. Alderman, good to see you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. How are you doing today?
Okay.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Anthony Quezada, 5th coolest neighborhood. Your immediate reaction to this honor, sir?
Well, one, I'm just so excited for our beautiful neighborhood of Avondale, and I'm extremely privileged to represent a large portion of Avondale here in the 35th Ward. You know, Avondale is just such a vibrant community, and I'm glad it's getting the recognition that it deserves. You know, this is a a neighborhood that is rich in history and in heritage of working class communities, people of Eastern European descent, and people of Latin American descent. And we just have a rich diversity of small businesses, of people, and a beautiful art movement here. So I'm just so elated, and I really want to welcome people from across the city, but across the country and world to come and partake in everything that Avondale has to offer.
Alderman, I have to ask, did you look into what the definition of cool that's used? Like, what makes you guys cool? You mentioned art. Is that part of it?
Definitely. Again, we have an extremely rich art culture. We have murals that that adorn our neighborhood streets, that adorn our highway underpasses, but also our restaurants, our cafes, our bakeries. You know, we've seen an explosion of small businesses here in our main corridors, Milwaukee Avenue, Diversey, and Belmont Avenue. I think a lot of people are really wanting to have that third place, right? That place away from home and a place from work. People are coming to our outdoor patios. They're eating amazing food, and they're enjoying time with one another. And so Avondale, again, has so much to offer. But yeah, this is just such a great honor.
Let's drill down a little bit, because I am, I was in the city for years. I lived up in Andersonville, and so I'm really familiar with kind of the northern neighborhoods. But Avondale, I don't think I really ventured there as often as I should have. But you mentioned some of the cafes and restaurants and patios. Do you mind drilling down for us a little bit and giving us some examples of maybe some of your favorite spots or your friends' favorite spots to kind of plant some seeds in our minds?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so my office, luckily, is also situated here in Avondale. I'm on the corner of Milwaukee and Central Park. So right next door to my office, we have a Loaf Lounge. I can actually hear them brewing coffee right behind this wall.
Yum.
They have amazing pastries, amazing coffee. They fuel my office and my staff. Right across the street, you have Mother's Ruin, an amazing bar with great restaurant food. There's also The Void, an Italian-American fusion restaurant. You have Central Park Bar that has a beautiful patio that is extremely popular, and I'm sure it's going to be very busy today after work for happy hour. They have an amazing mango habanero slushie. In the evening, people love to go to Alice's Lounge for karaoke, or you'll find, goth and punk dancers at Late Bar, dancing to Lime or, some other great music. We also have Consignment Lounge in the corner of Diversey and near Central Park. There's also a bunch of vintage and thrift shops that adorn Milwaukee Avenue that a lot of people love to go to. And then there's also cultural programming that takes place here year-round. One of our cultural institutions that we have here in the 35th Ward that is squarely situated in Avondale is the Puerto Rican Arts Alliance, which has a wide breadth of cultural programming. They have usually some rotating permanent exhibits. They have youth programming. It's just fantastic. There's also going to be an art fair that's going to be happening, the Avondalia Art Show. That's going to be on Friday, October 3rd at the Lost Artists Art Colony at 2630 West Fletcher at 5 p.m. There's a whole list of activities that are always happening here in Avondale, and you can find out more by visiting avondalechicago.org. And then lastly, I'll also say that we also have a very rich culture of grassroots activism. There's a lot of great folks here that are organizing on the ground to defend our neighbors from deportation, to fight for affordable housing, and to fight for social and economic justice. So this is an extremely vibrant community.
Can I ask where you see this community going in the next 5 to 10 years? I'm sure you're thinking about the future. Of course, you just listed all of these wonderful things that you guys have going on now, but do you have any, inkling of what's coming down the road?
Yeah, I think we're people who want to make sure that we hold our community together. And so, I think that there's always the impact of rising costs of living and displacement. We still today have a lot of, elder Polish, migrants that live here. And today we're actually seeing new waves of migration from folks from throughout Latin America. So this is an extremely diverse community. We want to make sure that we maintain our diversity, and that is being reflected again, yet again, in our small business and our art. And there's going to be new stories to tell. I think that's the beauty of migration, is that through every wave of migration, there's new expressions, new stories, new experiences. And so we want to make sure that we maintain the cultural diversity, the working class heritage, and to continue supporting, our institutions and small businesses.
You mentioned some of the Latin American storefronts there and fighting deportation efforts. I do want to, before I ask you more about the future of Avondale and the ward there, I have in my notes here that there's some Polish bakeries there as well. And I remember sticking my head into one, I feel like it might have been on Milwaukee Avenue, where there was like a bunch of
because I'm thinking about a lot of businesses right now, I just want to make sure that it's the Korowski Sausage Shop.
Ah, okay.
The Korowski Sausage Shop, that's also right around the corner from my office.
It's amazing.
Great bakery, but also sausage goods, and then they also have a hot bar. Yeah, we usually go there for, that's a really tasty and affordable lunch, actually.
It's so cool, too. You feel like you're in, like, you don't feel like you're in Chicago.
Yeah.
It transports you there. I remember there's like big kielbasas and stuff hanging from the ceiling, and it just...
And the smell is amazing.
Yes.
I also want to uplift our oh my goodness. I'm thinking about so many things in Avondale right now. I'm thinking about our basilica, St. Hyacinth Basilica, right around the corner on George Street, just off of Sunship Park. The St. Hyacinth Basilica is a Catholic basilica. It's an extremely important location for Polish immigrants and Polish Catholics. People from across the city and across Chicagoland come to St. Hyacinth Basilica to practice their faith. But the basilica itself is beautiful. People love to just walk in there, observe the art, smell the incense. And then outside of the basilica, there's actually a bunch of iron doors that have these iron reliefs that depict different biblical stories and different iconography here in Chicago and of the Catholic faith in the Vatican. That is a beautiful institution that I encourage people of all faiths to visit as well.
And as we're talking about the ward itself in the neighborhood, anyone who's going to watch this, if it's shared online across the country, this is the reason when you visit Chicago, you have to get out of downtown. Get away from Millennium. I mean, not that downtown's not awesome and Navy Pier and Grant Park and the museums and everything, but you have to get into the neighborhoods like Avondale. All right. I am also told, Alderman, that a number of more apartments were just given the green light in your ward. Am I hearing correctly? Is there development on the horizon?
A number of apartments, you said?
Yeah, Delaney, was that right?
The Black Club Chicago? Maybe reported that?
How about this? While she's fact-checking me, how is it housing-wise? I know that, like, we've been speaking with our real estate expert about how there are certain pockets of downtown that are kind of coming back, and I think home sales were up with the interest rates down. Give us an idea of livability and the residential piece of the neighborhood.
Well, to go back to your previous point, I completely agree with you. I tell people all the time, come to Chicago, go to downtown, visit the institutions. But if you want culture, if you want to meet the people, if you want to feel the actual true soul of Chicago, go into the neighborhoods. So I definitely want to highlight that. I think the northwest side of Chicago, like many other communities, have seen impacts due to the cost of living, due to increased rents or property tax assessments, and so that is putting a stress on people, and there is that fear and that actual real material impact. So that's why we fought for ordinances like the Northwest Side Housing Preservation Ordinance, so that we can preserve our naturally occurring affordable housing, while at the same time making sure that there's development without displacement. People in my community are demanding that we build more affordable housing, and that is one of my main, focuses as an alderman. Just yesterday in the city council, we just passed the ADU ordinance, and so I know that people definitely want to capitalize that here in the Northwest Side, and I'm sure in Avondale as well. A lot of people want to move here. It's a great neighborhood. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to see, and we want to make sure that people can come here, but at the same time, the people who want to stay here can stay here.
Got it. Okay, now I have my facts straight here. So, Block Club is reporting, and this actually may not be in your ward because you don't have all of Avondale, right?
I don't have all of Avondale.
Okay. A 5-story building with 32 apartments right along the Avondale-Irving Park border was just approved. So we're talking about the 4100 block of West Belmont. There's kind of a 1-story industrial building right there, and City Council's paved the way for a 5-story building with 32 units. So, yeah, on the up and up, in other words, if it's not in your ward, it might be close by. So that's a good sign.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. But again, yeah, I mean, people want to move here. We want people to come here, and we want to make sure that there's enough space for everyone to call this neighborhood home.
I have a question. For families, do you guys have anything special that families do in your neighborhood?
I think a lot of people, we're surrounded by a number of great other neighborhoods as well. I think people go to our local park. We have Avondale Park, which is just off of Drake, and off the highway. There's a pool there. Folks love to go there. People love to, what's that?
I said fun. There's a pool there. That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's an outdoor water feature, so people love to go there. And then, of course, we're right next to Logan Square, so people love to, there's an easy, I think, relationship between Avondale and Logan Square. So there's a lot to do in the surrounding area.
Okay, before we let you go, getting there, what advice do you have? How accessible is it for bikes? And also, if you're taking the L or public transportation, where do you suggest we all go if we want to make a little urban adventure and really explore Avondale?
That's something that we're also extremely proud of here in the 35th Ward. We're investing in bike infrastructure. So Belmont Avenue just got a number of protected bike lanes. Milwaukee Avenue, through the Bicentennial Milwaukee Streetscape Project, is seeing a number of painted bike lanes and other pedestrian improvements. We're also connected to the Blue Line station. So you can get off at the Belmont Blue Line station. You can take the Belmont bus. You can take the Milwaukee Avenue bus. You can take the Kimball bus to get to Avondale. This is a pedestrian. We want to make this an extremely pedestrian, cyclist, and motorist safe neighborhood, just like every neighborhood across the city deserves to be. But we are an extremely accessible neighborhood, and we invite you to come by very soon.
I hope a lot of people do. Congratulations on this big honor. That's really cool, Alderman.
I have one last question.
Thank you for making the time to highlight it for all of us.
One last question before you go. If there are people who see this report and they say, I want to get a picture and spread the news about this amazing neighborhood, this cool neighborhood, is there like a spot, a sign, something that's so Avondale that people should take a picture in front of?
There are a number of murals. I think one of my favorite murals is right underneath the Belmont and Kedzie underpass that has the side profile a working class person, and it says Avondale, and I think it says the neighborhood that built Chicago. I think that is a beautiful place. And then right across the street, there's also another mural that says Avondale, and there's also some beautiful iconography there and some colors. So please come and take pictures with our murals, but also, again, patron our small businesses. They need your support.
Great question, by the way.
Yeah.
Alderman Quezada, thank you so much, sir. Really good to see you. Have a great weekend.